With this tutorial, we're going to see how the different categories and tools can be changed and optimized for your use. We're going to have a few different tutorials about this subject, and you're going to see that your working space is going to start being a little bit crowded. But this is a good thing because you're going to start having a little bit more control on the tools you're going to be using, and like this you're going to reach the results you would like to have from each tool. Well, let's get started. We have in Painter on the left side a few categories, and here you can find almost everything that you would have in an artist's shop and more. So that's the beauty on digital illustration, is that you have not only the variants or the categories that you would find to be working on canvas or paper, but you have as well much more going on in here. And we're going to look at this in a few different tutorials. So to start with, we're going to be choosing something quite simple. I'm going to here feathers and pencils. And here we can see as well the preview underneath here from a few different variants. And for the ones who does not really find what they want, in the 2019 version of the software, we have as well the possibility of going back to the tools from earlier Painter versions. So I'm going to grab calligraphy brush, and I'm selecting here color, black, quite simple. I just pressed the panic button from Painter. So if you're working and you're changing a lot in this brush and you say, well, I would like to have it back on the default version because I don't want to lose the default version from the brush, here you can always go back here, and you're never going to do anything wrong by trying things out. So if we would like to start changing a few informations in the brush that we decided to use, we have here on the top bar from Painter a few options, but I would go a little bit further and I would like to have everything in detail. So we have here the first option to open all the important palettes that is going to be able to change informations from this brush, and I'm opening as well the second one, which is going to show me the general information about this brush, which is always very important to understand as well. This calligraphy brush is based on a circle format from the brush, and here you can see as well a few other possibilities that builds up a brush. Painter has a lot of them, so we're working with the most simple type of brush up here, and I'm going to go all this list with you guys in this first option. So the first thing to understand is depth or depth profile, and here we can see that we have a few different profiles, and down here I'm going to just try to close a few of them. We're going to see how this depth looks like. So for the moment we have a depth that is like an oval. I'm going to angle, and we can see here that we have 36% from the actual depth that is shaping this brush. If I go up to 100%, we can see that it's about a circular depth like we saw here as an information on general, and it's a single depth, so it's just one circle that at the moment you start making a line, it's repeating itself many times to build up this line. So we have as well here the angle. We saw that we had an angle here appearing before while it was not circular. I'm just decreasing this number for you to see it again. So here we had 39 degrees. At the moment you have a circular depth. This is not so important, so we can just ignore this information for now. We have as well the possibility to change the size of the brush. For now we have 20 pixels, and we have the minimum size of it on 36%. So I'm increasing the size of the brush and I'm decreasing the size of the minimum size. For now, you can just see what happened if we press the first preview from this tab. So we can see the minimum size of the brush appears in black and the maximum size of the brush appears in gray. So that if I do little pressure, and we can see that it reacts through pressure, because here we have as well the translation into pressure. And if I do a lot of pressure, we're going to have a much bigger, larger brush. I like to have the size of the brush much smaller, and I like to have the minimum size of the brush almost on 0%, so that I have a very thin and a nicely thick brush without too much interference, without being too thick and too thin at the same time, so that you can do really very nice outlines going from thin to thick. It makes all the outlines a little bit more alive. We would be able to change this into letting it go from any kind of changes in here, so the minimum size wouldn't mean much. I would have this brush a little bit larger all the time if I do a lot of pressure or not. Or we can just go through this list and decide what would be better for it. Would it be like the tilt of the brush? Would it be the pressure? Maybe you would like to have something random. So you have here a list of possibilities. Usually the size of the brush, I like to have it through pressure. Okay, moving a little bit forward, we have here the distance between the single dabs, and I'm going to make this a little bit different. I'm going to make this without any changes, so I'm always going to have the maximum size of my brush. And you can see even here it appears the single dabs as well, the repetition of the dabs. So sometimes if you have this and you would like to avoid it, I would just go up here and reduce this number a little bit. Try not to go to 0, because if you go to 0, you may have some problems with your computer. Like 7% looks quite good. I'm not seeing the single dabs appearing anymore. Or if you would like to have exactly the opposite, I'm just erasing the whole stuff. You can enlarge this number, and you're going to have like a pearl necklace appearing here. And we still have this linear. We would have the chance as well, instead of having this linear, we could have this as a spray function, so that we would just increase the jitter. We have the jitter number from 0 till 4. And here you can see that we don't have a line anymore. If we go higher with this number, you lose a little bit more the control of where the single dabs should be appearing. But sometimes it's interesting to have this like this. So we can see as well that for the moment we have a little bit of our paper texture appearing with this tool. You could decide if you think this is good, or you can just change this and take all the texture out of your brush, reducing the number of the appearance of the texture on your brush. Going back to the dab information, I'm selecting it all, backspacing again. We have now a 1 pixel edge brush, and we could just go for a few different brush variants up here. We have here the overview from it, and we can just see what would be more interesting for your brush. I'm going to make a kind of festive, kind of carnival type of brush for us to try it out. So I quite like this one, but one single color is not so nice for what I was looking for. I would like to have something a little bit brighter. So we're kind of playing around here. I'm not trying to make like a really like a brush that really repeats something that I would have on a paint or an artist shop. I'm just trying something that just works digitally here. So I'm going to change the colors of it a little bit. So I'm grabbing first a very saturated color, and instead of just having one color going on, I would like to have a few colors. The smaller this number is, which is for color in German Farbton, you get analogous colors coming out, and the highest you get more from this color circle coming out. And you can as well change the saturation, or you can change the value of the single color. So I would like to have something not changing value. I would like to have it fully saturated. So I'm just decreasing this a little bit. And maybe let me check. Saturation won't change, but value can be darker. It's nicer. Okay. So now I have a very bright and colorful type of brush, and we're going to see on the next tutorial how I could save this brush and have my own categories to be playing with this, and not for me to be searching every single time I need a brush for something in this huge list of variants that we have in Painter. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye bye.